Welcome to Do You Wish to Continue, or DYWTC. I'm your host, Casval, and today is September 11th, 2022. I'm going off the cuff mostly again today, since the show structure is still in its infancy. Bear with me. I also endeavor to have better audio levels if I can. We'll start off with hobby time this time. One of the, second or earliest hobbies I picked up during our multi-year pandemic was wax sealing. I have no idea what really... I don't know what started me on it. I did, technically start with the leather-bound journal with vintage pages, kind of, the really... It looks old, but it isn't old kind of looking paper. And I picked up fountain pens, and that I think that's what rolled into the wax sealing, because then I got vintage envelopes and all this other kind of stuff. And so I got into the wax sealing stuff, it's interesting. I don't have a great tea candle cauldron, I guess they call it, for the waxing, and my wax seal spoons are not great. But I got a nice little setup of multicolored and metallic colors and all this other kind of stuff for the wax, and it's kind of therapeutic in a way, I think. Then I got, along with that, then I went into having the journals, which is the first thing I think I started doing. I've already filled up one. They're just, those Amazon really $12 to $20 kind of leather-bound, questionable leather-bound journals, and it's pretty interesting to, the tactile feel of writing on that kind of paper, the smells. I'm a sucker for leather, the smell of leather, and the parchment is really good as well. And then the fountain pen stuff has been interesting. I almost went into calligraphy and kind of the fancy writing that comes along with using an actual fountain tip pen kind of setup. But you need an angled table for that, and those are expensive and space consuming, and I don't have the space for that. So I haven't really been able to practice the actual fancy writing, the flat tip or sort of flat tip fountain pen stuff. I haven't gotten to really do much with that. I like the Gothic styles and kind of Celtic, whatever style of writing. So I do want to do that eventually. The actual calligraphy of drawing maps and stuff, I'm not too interested into that. But yeah, it was one of the many things I picked up outside of my original kind of life hobby, I guess, would be just Gunpla, the plastic models based off of the Mobile Suit Gundam anime series. If you know any of those, they back in the old days when we first got Toonami on Cartoon Network, we got Gundam Wing and then G Gundam, and I think on Adult Swim they had a dubbed version of the original series. And then, of course, with that comes toys and merch, all kinds of stuff, and, of course, model kits. So I picked up quite a few of those in 2020 and 2021. Slapped together a whole bunch and actually made an original build recently. I haven't gotten to paint it yet because that's the other thing that kind of I threw my money into. I shouldn't have. Is I got an air compressor. A very crappy air compressor for not spray painting, airbrushing. That's it, the airbrush. And so I did airbrush a couple models. I did kind of a custom coloration on a Leo from Gundam Wing. I painted something else. Where did it go? Not sure. I got a couple of them. I got Hyakushiki, I got Mark II, I got Flight Goof, got some early easy grade kits for other people's, and then I did a Zaku one that I actually painted up with Federation colors, or kind of red, white, and blue colors. He came out pretty well. He's got some attitude to him, so I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, and it really comes down to just kind of like working with your hands. That kind of like just tactile, zen kind of, just kind of that feeling of doing something and being able to focus just on that. And that was something that was really important. And I think that might have been why I kept jumping hobby to hobby to hobby, was I would, start a hobby and find that zen moment in it. And then it became, I started worrying about cost and upkeep and when I would do it. And that would eventually cause me to flip to something else. Or, and in terms of the journals, it was kind of a thematic addiction where it was like, oh, I'm doing these journals, so I should do some vintage envelopes and then some seals, and I even got like a family seal done that's all nice and fancy that I've used maybe a handful, not even a handful of times. But yeah, it's not all that much. I don't know. When I got a stereo Bluetooth speaker for my room that looks all old and 70s-ish, and was it 1946 USA, the Klipsch heritage inspired vintage Bluetooth speaker. I'm not an audiophile, so I don't really know that much about it. I mean, I know some audio things. I did stage crew and audio and lighting stuff when I was in high school and in college, but I'm not like versed on everything. I have a boom mic I'm using right now and like a condenser microphone, and I'm using Audacity. But that's pretty much my reach extension of knowledge when it comes to audio manipulation and editing and all that kind of stuff is very bare minimum. Video editing, I did a little bit more of that, and I've messed with that and videography rather. And so that's kind of all that I know, so that's why this is kind of a learning experience and also dusting the rust off on certain skills for this podcast. Next section, I guess it still kind of goes along, but I wanted to go into kind of just mental health stuff. So here's your, I guess, not spoiler warning, but I guess trigger warning for stuff dealing with depression and suicide and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, for me, it's just these last 2 years have just been really, and it's probably been well beyond just the last 2 years. I think I started having issues probably when I went into the military, because they tend to wipe out your entire personality when you go through basic training, because they want to tear you down to build you up into what they want, and regardless of what you were or what you wanted to be, that didn't matter to them. So yeah, coming out of that and then getting back into college after, being much older than the usual freshman age person, that wasn't terribly great for myself, and trying to figure out who the hell I was then, because I went from high school pretty much straight into the military. There was like a little leeway of a year in between there with a little bit of community college, but that was like it. And then I didn't really didn't make any friends during that time, and in the military it was a completely different environment to what I was, used to. I'm a theater person, I'm a liberal person, I'm a nerd. I mean, it was about as far from military personality-wise as I possibly could have been. Luckily, because I was an actor, I was able to kind of finagle my way through. I pretty much ghosted my way through basic training, almost literally, considering anytime we had to get inspections done, they always would tell me to pack up my entire locker and go sit outside in the hallway so that I wouldn't get yelled at, even though I never saw any issue with my stuff, but I stink at that kind of thing anyway. Cleaning, not my forte. So yeah, after all that fun stuff, you get out and it's like, all right, well, picked up a couple of things mentally and physically I didn't really want while I was in the military. So, tried therapy. I tried. VA failed me on that multiple times. I think I changed therapists like 3 times in the span of maybe a couple weeks. And also the last one was just a social worker and not an actual therapist. So, after telling the same story 3 times in a row, you kind of get tired of doing it. Not to mention, the same kind of logical but not helpful, guides towards therapy. It's try to stop yourself from thinking in this line of thinking. It's I would just get right on that, telling my brain to shut up about being, self debilitating, or not debilitating, but just down on yourself. Because I go through that whole thing. It's I'm down on myself, and then I'm I'm such an emo on top of myself, and then I have no I have no room for my own emotional damage, I guess. And I just go to loops and loops and loops. I feel bad for feeling bad, and then I feel bad for feeling bad for feeling bad, and so on and so forth. It's just a whole thing. But that's why I kind of wanted... I think that's what eventually... I don't know. Just running into hypnosis and that kind of scene, trying to find things to kind of fall asleep to. Thunderstorms and rain sounds were kind of okay working for a little bit, but I just needed something else to kind of just calm down with and kind of go zen with. And lo and behold, apparently hypnosis is a whole thing on YouTube, and I'm so glad I found Secret Subject. Her stuff's all great. I wouldn't say I've been full geared super deep trance kind of thing or anything, but I've gotten close, I think, in a couple ways, to just kind of being able to get the body to relax and just be able to go and turn everything, as much of the background noise of my brain as I can, to get that to calm down and to just listen to her voice, or follow the picture or whatever it might be. And it helps here and there. There's a couple mental barriers I'm struggling with, I think, subconscious or otherwise. I'm not 100% sure anyway. When you pretend to be someone you're not for 6 years, it's not good for the old noodle. So, yeah, it comes with a lot of work I have to do on top of some other stuff I guess I'll try, but luckily I'm not into the booze or smoking or anything else. I got too much on my plate to take care of. Thank you, adulting. Oh, gracious. Let's see, what else could we talk about today? I don't know, I'm into voice acting as well. I always wanted to be a voice actor. I can do lots of voices and things, I feel like. I don't know, I haven't been graded on it exactly. I read a lot, or I don't read a lot, but I read to my kids and stuff, and they enjoy their voices. It's a me, Mario. Actually, that was more Luigi. Ho ho ho. And there's Toad. Wah! It's me, Toad. Oh no. And then Bowser, I just go really low like this. And Peachy's like this. Oh my god. And I think the Mario is just a regular voice, but just with the really, really racist Italian voiceover kind of thing. Which, I'm terrified for the Super Mario movie. I don't know what the hell they were thinking getting Chris whatever the frick his face is. Why would they pick him? We already have an established Mario voice. Just why? We all... I don't know. It seems like a bad idea and a bad time. And we'll just see where it goes, but I am not looking forward to that movie. The Sonic ones were okay. What is it? Actually, thinking about it, what is it with the cast of Parks and Rec and getting all the video game character movies? I just thought of that. Because Sonic's voice is, what's his face from Parks and Rec? The always really eccentric, crazy guy, and whatever. What was his name? Gosh, I can't remember. And then you have Chris, who was on Parks and Rec, is Andy, right? Andy? Yeah, Andy. And then he got in Guardians of the Galaxy and so on so forth for that. But yeah, what is it with that show and them all getting voiceovers in video game movies? That's weird. What else? Good Lord. Where did the year go? Like, I felt like the summer was going slow, and then suddenly it just blasted through July and in August, and now we're almost halfway through September. I don't know what that's about, but all right. I guess I'm out of ideas. Hopefully this gains traction. Y'all can send me some ideas, because I'm spent for now. So I guess I'll get to editing and fixing up some audio and stuff. I do want to, like, I don't know, I want to make a segment where I'm either reading something, like a story, or a snippet of something. I don't know. If people can give me ideas, that'd be great. Obviously, there's no traction on this stuff yet, but it'd be nice, so. Alright, anyway, thanks for joining me if you have. I guess I'll try to keep this going. I know I said like once a week, but I was just bored and I wanted to do something today. The last couple of days I've just kind of sat and done nothing. So this is at least creative in some way. So, alright. Have a good night. And make sure you drink water, because it's very important.